Assalamu alaikum. Let's look at the board and see these two statements and say which of them do we think is a verse or an ending of a verse in the Quran. The first is Kana Allahu Ghafurur Rahima, and the second is Kana Allahu Ghafurur Rahima. Which of these do we think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ended several verses of the Quran with? Of course, the correct option is the second. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. But why do we think the first one is not correct? This is the topic we shall be discussing about today. In Arabic language, there are a lot of rules, and these rules will be made simple to you if you listen and pay attention very well to these our lessons. We can see on this first statement of Allah, it is كَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. This will never be correct. Do you know why? Because there is precedence of Kana over Allahu, Ghafurun, and Rahim. But the second is correct because we have Kana Allahu Ghafurur Rahima. Let's analyze this based on what we have learned previously of Mubtada and Khabar. We can see that Allahu here stands for Mubtada. That is the subject now, Allahu. Then what is the predicate giving us information about him? It is Ghafurun. So originally what we have is Allahu Ghafurun. Allah is most forgiving, then Rahimun, and most merciful. Why do we now change Ghafurun to Ghafurun and Rahimun to Rahiman? This is because we have Kana coming before Allahu. So we have Kana Allahu Ghafurur Rahima. Kana has his sisters and also subordinate friends that also share the same rule with them. When Kana appears before a subject noun, it makes it to carry the Dhamma, as you can see in Allahu, Kana Allahu. But Ghafurun coming after it is the predicate, and the predicate, Kana will put the predicate into the mansub, the accusative case carrying fatha. That is why we have Kana Allahu Ghafurun. Then Rahiman. So the first statement we have here is incorrect because Kana will make the khabar to be in the what? In the accusative case carrying fatha. When next you are reciting the Quran, even though you do not look at the pages of the Quran, you are ready from what you have memorized, you would not say Kana Allahu Ghafurur Rahimun. You know it is wrong. What you should say is what? Kana Allahu Ghafurur Rahima. Kana Allahu Aliman Hakima. Let's dive into this topic so we can learn why Kana will change this subject now into carrying Dhamma and the Khobar, the predicate carrying Fatha, and all of the other words which also share the same rule with Kana, and these words are called Akhwatuha Kana, the sisters and friends of what? Kana. So the topic of today is Kaana wa Akhwatuha. Kaana and his sisters and his friends. Let's dive in. And the book we are still using is the popular Arabic grammar book, النحو الواضح. For those of us who have complained in the past that these lessons are not usually very bold, the texts are not usually very bold, if you are using your phone, it is better you put it on the landscape. You can put your phone on auto rotate in order to rotate your phone so you can see it clearly. Let's start. Kaana wa Akhwatuha. Kaana and his sisters. What are the sisters of Kaana? What are the rules guiding Kaana and his sisters? As usual, we'll have examples. Well, let's talk about Kaana first. Kaana and his sisters, these are groups of verbs. Kaana and the other words which are similar to Kaana and they have the same rules guiding them. These words are what? Are groups of verbs used as to express past tenses and structures, conditions, or even states. They are also called verbs of being. They are called what? Verbs of being. As we go through these examples, we would understand how to use this Kana and the similar words. Now let's look at the first example here. We have Azzihamu Shadidun. Azzihamu simply means we can say traffic. Shadidun, the traffic is severe. The traffic is what? Severe. When we look at these two words, we'll see that this is both a mubtada and khabar, subject noun, and also the predicate conveying information about the subject noun. Azzihamu, the traffic. Shadidun is severe. But when we look at this, the other side of it, we see Kana zihamu shadidan. Kana has now appeared before the previous sentence that we have. So Kana zihamu shadidan. And what change can we see here? We can see that shadidun previously has now changed to what? Shadidan. Why? Because there's Kana. So we now have Kana zihamu shadidan. And what is the meaning of Kana? Kana simply means was, a state or condition. So to express this, what they call a past tense state. So we have here what? Kana zihamu shadidan. The traffic was severe. Azihamu shadidun, the traffic is severe. Kana zihamu shadidan, the traffic was severe. So it will be very wrong for us to say Kana zihamu shadidun. We should say Kana zihamu shadidan. Example number 2, we have al-baytu nadhifun, the house is clean. And on the other side, we have kana al-baytu nadhifan. Very simple. Next, we have athawbu qasirun, the shirt is short. What do we say? Or the cloth is short. Then we have sara thawbu qasirun, the cloth became what? Short. We cannot see sorrow has now come. We are done with Kana, and now we are moving on to sorrow, and sorrow is one of the sisters of Kana. They have the same rule. So because sorrow is also coming before this sentence, athawbu qasirun, we now have what? Sorrow thawbu qasirun. So sorrow has come, and it made qasirun to be qasirun. The cloth became what? Short. Number 4, we have al-bardu qarisun. The cold is bitter. The cold is what? Bitter. It is severe. So we have sara al-bardu qarisan. The cold became severe. Number 5, we have al-khadimu qawiyun. The servant is strong. And we have laysa al-khadimu qawiyan. The servant is not strong. So laysa is also a sister of Kana, and they share the same rule with Kana. Next, we have number 6, al-amilu nashitun. The worker is active. We have laysa al-amilu nashitun. The worker is not what? Active. Next, we have an-nahimu maridun. The glutton, the one who eats much, is sick. We say asbahan nahimu. Sorry, an-nahimu. Asbahan nahimu maridun. The glutton became or woke up in the morning being what? Sick. So asbaha is also part of the sisters of Kana. Next, we have al-jawu mumtirun. The weather is rainy. We have what? Asbaha al-jawu mumtirun. The weather became what? Rainy in the morning. Next, we have al-amilu muta'abun. The worker is tired. We have amsal amilu muta'abun. The worker became tired during the time of the evening. Number 10, we have az-zahru zabilun. The flower is withering. We have what? Amsa zahru zabilan. The flower become withering during the time of the what? Evening. Next, we have al-ghamamu kathifun. The what? Al-ghamamu, the cloud is what? Kathifun, is thick. So we have what? As ad al-ghamamu kathifan, the cloud became what? Dense during the time of the forenoon. Next, we have ashari'u muzdahimun. Ashari'u muzdahimun. The street is crowded. We have other ashari'u muzdahiman. The street became crowded during the forenoon. Next, we have al-mataru gazirun. The rain is torrential, very heavy. We have dhalla al-mataru gazirun. The rain became heavy during the time of the evening. Then we have al-ghubaru fa'irun. The dust is whirling. So we have what? Dhalla al-ghubaru fa'irun. The dust became whirling. Next, we have al-misbahu muttaqidun. The lamp is burning. We have bat al-misbahu muttaqidan. The lamp burned throughout the night. Then 16 we have al-maridu muta'allimun. The sick is in pain. But al-maridu muta'alliman. The sick slept in pain. We can see all of these sentences had one or two of the Kaana and his sisters. Now let's move on to Alberto research to explain these examples and what has happened to each of them. كل مثال في القسم الأول. All of the examples we see in the first column on the right hand side يتألف من مبتدأ وخبر are made up of a mubtada subject noun وخبر and also a predicate. We can see from example number 1 till example number 16, all that are on the right hand side, they are all mubtada and khabar, just two words, mubtada and khabar. Then wahuma marfu'ani kama alimta, and we know that mubtada and khabar, they are in the nominative case, as we have learned previously, they will always carry dhamma. وَإِذَا نَظَرْتَ إِلَى الْقِسْمِ الثَّانِي. But when we look at the second column to each of the examples, the second side of the examples, رَأَيْتَ الْأَمْثِلَةَ أَيْنَهَا. You will see the examples themselves. You see them, those words that you have seen on the first column, you will see them again. بَعْدَ أَنْ دَخَلَ عَلَى كُلِّ مِنْهَا أَحَدُ الْأَفْعَالِ. But you will see them now after the introduction of one of the following verbs. أَيْدَ كَانَ صَارَ Laysa, Asbaha, Amsa, Adha, Zolla, Bata. You will see that the examples on the second side are now having at their beginning Kaana, Sora, Laysa, Asbaha, Amsa, Adha, and Zolla, Bata. وإذا تأملت آخر الأسماء في هذا القسم وجدت الاسم الأول مرفوعا. If you look at the endings of each of the following words, of the words found in examples, you will now see that after the introduction of one of these verbs to them, you will see that these nouns are, the first of the nouns will now have dhamma. Look like example number 1, we now have Kaana zihamu shadidan. We now say that az-zihamu is carrying dhamma. Wal ithma sani mansuban fi jami'aha. And we see that the second nouns will now be in the accusative case carrying fatha. وما حدث هذا التغيير إلا من دخول الأفعال المتقدمة. And nothing has caused these changes that you notice except that one of these verbs, kana, sara, asbaha, amsa, adha, dhalla, bata, was introduced to this subject noun and khabar. This was the reason that causes the change to the khabar, that you now see the khabar carrying fatha at the end of it. فهذه الأفعال, therefore these verbs تدخل على المبتدا والخبر, they are verbs which are introduced to mubtada and khabar. فترفع الأول, therefore it will now make the first noun, which is the mubtada, to be in the nominative case carrying dhamma. ويسمى اسمها, and it will be called ismu kana. Example number 1, that we have Kaana zihamu shadidan. You will see that the first noun, which is az-zihamu, grammatically it will now be called that it is ismu Kaana, the noun of Kaana, because Kaana has affected it. Watansibu thani, and this same Kaana and his sisters will make the second noun to be in the accusative case carrying fatha, وَيُسَمَّى خَبَرُهَا, and it will be called the khabar of Kaana. So we have Kaana zihamu shadidan, az-zihamu will be called ismu Kaana, and shadidan will be called khabaru Kaana. The same goes for all of the other examples. وَيَعْمَلُ الْمُضَارِعُ وَالْأَمْرُ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأَفْعَالِ عَمَلَهَا. And these verbs that we have seen, all of them have a present tense verb. All of them have what? A present tense verb, and they also have a command tense, fi'lul amr and fi'lul mudari. For example, kana, the present tense will be yakunu, and the command tense will be what? Kun. So both their present and their command tense will also work with the same rule, just the same way we did with their past tense. So when you have yakunu, the rule that says that Yakun, that Kana will put the first noun in the nominative case and the second noun in the accusative case will also be applicable to Yakunu and even Kun. The same goes for Soro, Yasiru, and Sir. MashaAllah. So, إلا أملها أن غير أن ليس لا يأتي منها مضارع ولا أمر. The only verb among these verbs that does not carry a present tense verb and a command tense is leisa. So we do not have yalisu or yalusu or lis. We don't have this. So leisa is always in this past tense. But all others, they have their present, past, and command tense. وإذا تدبرت معاني هذه الأفعال في الأمثلتها وجدت أن كان. And if you ponder and you think over these verbs, kana, sora, asbaha, adaha, amsa, dhalla, bata. If you ponder over their meanings, you'll find out that the first one, which is kana, تفيد اتصاف المبتدا بالخبر في الزمن الماضي. It gives us the meaning, it gives us the information about the noun using the khabar, the predicate in the past tense. For example, when we have kana zihamu shadidan, the information we're getting here is that the mubtada is now being described with the khabar in the past. As zihamu shadidun, the traffic is severe. Kana zihamu shadidan. So somebody is saying the traffic was, the description is what? Severe. So it is now being described in the past. So this is the work of Kana. Wasoro. Then as for Soro, which is the second sister or the first sister of Kana, تدل على تحول المبتدا من حال إلى حال. It only shows the changing of mubtada, the subject noun, from a condition to another. When we say kana zihamu, when we say swara, example number 3, when we say swara faubo qasiron, the shirt became short. What have you passed? You are saying that the shirt has now changed its condition from maybe a normal size to being short. Perhaps the shirt was long before, but now it has what? Became short. Soro thawbu qasiran. So this is the work of Soro. When we say Soro, like we can say Soro bintu umman, the girl became a mother. So this is changing in what? In condition and states. So now let's continue. Walaysa, as for Laysa, another sister of Kana, tufidun nafia. It only gives us negation. What it stands for is negation. For example, let's look at example numbers 5. We have Laysa al-khadimu qawiyan. The servant is not what? Strong. So al-khadimu qawiyun, the servant is strong. Laysa al-khadimu qawiyan. The servant is not what? Strong. You are negating that information which states that the servant is strong, that he is not what? Strong. So that is the work of Laysa. Amma asbaha. As for asbaha, wa amsa and amsa, wa adaha and adaha, wa dhalla and dhalla, wa bata and bata. As for these 5, fatufidu tawqit al-ittisaf fil mubtada bil khabar. What this do is to describe the subject noun with time. They only describe the subject noun with time, either with the morning. When we say asbaha, example number 7, we have asbaha nahimu maridon. The nahim, the glutton become sick. The glutton becomes sick when? During the time of the morning, because asbaha, from sabah. Example number 9, we have amsal amilu mut'aban. The worker became tired. At what time? During the time of masa, during the time of evening. Example number 11, we have adhal gomamu kasifan. The cloud became dense. At what time? During the time of the forenoon. Then look at example number 13, we have dhalla al-mataru ghaziran. The rain became torrential. So at what time? During the time of noon, of afternoon. So bata misbahu muttaqid. Example number 15. Bata al misbahu muttaqidan. The lamp remained on remain burning, the lamp continuously burn. At what time? During the time of the night. So all of these five, asbaha, amsa, adaha, dhalla, bata, they are used to describe the mubtada in time of timing. Now moving on to al-qawaid, rules to help us understand this topic very well. The first rule says tadkhulu kana ala al-mubtada wal khabar. Kana is introduced to mubtada and khabar fatarfa'ul awwal, and it will put the first noun, which is the mubtada, into the nominative case carrying dhamma. Wa yusamma ismuha, and it will be called ismaha, the name, the noun of kana. Wa tansibu thani, and it will put the second one into the accusative case carrying fatha. Wa yusamma khabaraha, and it will be called the khabar of kana. So this is the first rule, that Kaana and his sisters, they are usually introduced into a nominal sentence which have nominal noun and also the khabar, and it will make the nominal noun to be in the dhamma, the marfu case, and the khabar, the predicate, to be in the mansub carrying fatha. Next rule says mithlu kana fima taqaddama. Kana, the example of kana in what we have said earlier is sara, laysa, asbaha, amsa, adha, dhalla, wabata. All of these, they share the same rule, that whenever they are introduced into a sentence, a nominal sentence, they will make the first noun, which is the nominal noun, to be carrying dhamma, and the second to be in the accusative case carrying fatha. وتسمى هذه الأفعال أخوات كان, and all of these verbs are called the sisters of Kaana, or subordinates of Kaana. The last rule states that لكل فعل من هذه الأفعال مضارع وأمر يعملان عمل الماضي إلا ليس. All of these verbs we have listed, they all have their present tense verb and also their command tenses, except laysa. Only laysa doesn't have present tense and command tense. فلا يأتي منها مضارع ولا أمر, because laysa does not have present tense verb and also command tense. With this, we understood this topic, that Kaana, laysa, and the sisters, all of them, whenever they are introduced into a sentence, they change the sentence they change the mubtada to carry dhamma and the khabar to carry fatha. That is why we have Kaana Allahu Ghafurur Rahima, because Allah is mubtada, it remains with dhamma, and Ghafurun is the khabar, and Rahiman is the naat. MashaAllah. Now we have exercises. By the time we finish solving these exercises, you will see that you become better, you get better at using the Kaana and its sisters.